Welcome to the Seller Showcase presented to you by Flippa. It is a regular webinar series that we will be doing every month. However, in June, we'll have a bumper one with a June 30th also presentation. Blake Hutchison, the CEO of Flippa, will be in live conversation with our three sellers today. So today's speakers, we have three fantastic listings. The first one is by Joel Young. He is the owner of Dock Artisan. It is an e-commerce and lifestyle business that sells high-end mobile phone cases and runs at about approximately $8,000 in profit a month. Our second speaker is Raphael De Lima. He is the business owner of Solid Face, which is a software as a service and in the design category. It is growing a CAD software segment, so he's growing quite rapidly, and his profits per month are running at approximately $23,000. And we also have with us Louis Pearson from Olly Clothing. That is an e-commerce and a training lifestyle category listing, and it is focused on branded CrossFit training apparel. And his business is running at approximately $2,500 of profit per month as well.
Hey, Christina, how are you?
Good, good. How are you? Sorry, it's 7 a.m. for you, Blake, but thanks for making it.
No worries at all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the return of the Flippa Seller Showcase. And thanks, Christina, once again. Thank you also to Joel, Raph, and Louis for joining us today. Really excited to hear your presentations. I've had a good look at your businesses, and they're really, really great assets for acquisition entrepreneurs to take over and run. So congratulations on building outstanding businesses. Very, very quick update before we kick in. It's a really exciting time in the acquisition entrepreneurship space. Really exciting time for Flippa. Always does seem to be the case, but obviously coming out of a challenging year last year, e-commerce is obviously booming. We're seeing record levels of online retail across the globe. Content businesses in key categories, particularly categories which are servicing customers through this challenging time all over the world, are also booming. SaaS businesses are ever reliable and got buyers on the lookout for those. A couple of statistics to throw your way. One, multiples are now at record levels. Depending on the asset, it's a little bit different, but we're seeing across the board around an average of 2.5 times net profit. That's annual. We don't do monthly here at Flippa. We think it's a little bit misleading. So we go with an annual net profit number of around 2.5 times. In addition to that, the buy side is really heating up. There's a lot of competition for good quality assets. Flippa's now seeing 1,000 buyers join each day from all over the world, mostly the US, but all over the world. So around about 1,000 buyers joining each day on the platform. We have two ways to list on Flippa. You can list in a open marketplace environment, which all of our sellers here today have done. We also have a private listing opportunity, an off marketplace opportunity for some businesses where there is some significant confidentiality at play. I'm always available. You can get me on Twitter, you can get me on LinkedIn, you can even send me an email directly at blake@flippa.com. Happy to answer any questions that our community has at any given time. Over to you, Christina. Really keen to get started and welcome our first speaker.
Raphael. So Raphael, if you want to share your screen.
So Solid Face, it's a 3D software CAD company, 2D 3D software CAD company that we started back in 2013, me and my co-founder, Oscar. And before that, he had a CAD software company called UniCAD. So we decided to start a new one and basically bring 3D and make it more affordable and more complex also in terms of what we were building initially. So it took us about 5 years to develop the first commercial version per se. So about 2017 to 18 was when we released our first commercial version, and we pre-sold around 400 perpetual license, which helped us fund the development, which were very costly initially. And then we were not marketing guys, not SaaS guys, so we had to learn a lot on how to push the business forward, and that took us I would say a few years. Finally, 2020, we hired right team. We had some money coming in from other business that we had. We decided to invest that in solid face, hire like a really good Facebook marketing team, and really start pushing the company towards like the SaaS side, because before that we were doing pretty much only perpetual licensing. So in 2020 alone, from March all the way to December, we managed to add 5,000 users. As you can see here in the graphs, we had like a really steep growth, basically pushing revenue month after month and bringing users. And then by December, we had a problem with Stripe, where we were really pushing marketing, so our chargeback rates were getting a little bit higher, and we got a 2% chargeback, which led Stripe to ask us to find another processor, which then bring us to this down side where you can see in the graph, because we had to stop marketing, we had to stop sales until we found a new processor. Last month, we started using BlueSnap. We managed to migrate all the users, all the credit cards, everything, and now we are getting some steam again, and we're doing an average of 23,000 profit per month without doing any marketing activities right now. This is just a little bit of what we have been doing in Facebook. We have two products. We have an entry-level products with a 2D software that we charge. We give a 30 days free trial, and we charge $89 per quarter, right? You can see here that we have converted, this is last 12 months, we have converted 5,300. This is not people that sign up, that's actually people that install the software, right? We have spent a total of $155,000 in marketing in the past 12 months, and that generated around $400,000 in revenue right now, a little bit more than that right now. We decided to sell the business because right now it's very hard for me to get a visa in the United States. So I'm back in Brazil. I had a E1 visa, which allowed me to stay in the US working. Right now, I couldn't renew that visa. They require me a lot of things to renew it. So that was one of the reasons that we decided to sell. This is a business that I believe it needs a constant investment in order to push to the next level. And without being anywhere close to VCs and investors, it's very hard for me to acquire that right now. So we think a team probably that has access to investment, marketing team, and support team would be perfect for this business to take it to the next level. One thing that I think this is a great company to buy is this is the only 3D software company available to sell worldwide. The last one was called OnShape. They raised $140 million, and they just sold, I don't remember to who, but for I think $400 million 2 years ago. So it is a market that you can grow a very, very big business if you dedicate yourself and you have experience. But for us right now, it's been very hard, and we have to pour a lot of our own capital into it. So we're looking to a team that can take it to the next level.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, and congratulations on building a really, really strong business. Obviously, CAD design software is in demand always, and I can see that by nature of your organic traffic, actually, Rafa. Most of it's organic. So it looks like you have spent some money on marketing, but you are getting some organic demand. What do you put that down to? Do you have a really good quality blog, or is there some strong content marketing that is driving that? How do you explain that?
So we do have like a blog team where they research posts, research things related to CAD, write our own view, our own articles, and post to the website. And we are doing also very deep guides on YouTube on how to use the software, basically our idea is that you can learn CAD software just by videos if we give you enough content for it. So that's what we were pushing, creating like 2 or 3 videos per week, 3-4 blog posts per week also. And in the long run, that started paying off and bringing a lot of organic traffic to the website.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's always nice to see a business in the SaaS space that has such a strong content marketing presence. Looks like your domain authority score is 38, and there's a bunch of really long tail keywords that you're trafficking really, really well for. Free AutoCAD, alternative AutoCAD, alternative, what does CAD stand for? Solid face and elliptical shape, etc. So there's a lot of long tail there. Just talk us a little bit through the SaaS nature of the business. I think you're selling both monthly and quarterly subscriptions. Is that right?
Yes. So we have actually tried a varieties of plans, and we had monthly, we had like some per semester, and then but the one that we really managed to convert and got like the highest returns were the plans per quarter, because what happens also is that CAD is a kind of software that requires a learning. It has a learning curve. So if you give a user, if you only make the user commit for 1 month, they are not really committed, right? So if you charge a little more and make them committed for 3 months, then they are really committed. After 3 months, they already really understand the software, and then it's very hard for them to churn.
Got it. And so do you have some sense right now of what the average lifetime of your customers is, either by number of months or quarters or even revenue?
Yeah, right now we are averaging around 8 months.
8 months, that's outstanding. That's great. And so the average paying subscriber is paying how much?
About $89 per quarter. But
$89, okay, and an 8-month lifetime. Okay, that's wonderful.
I think one of the things that differentiates the most us, we are fully parametric CAD software, both in 2D and 3D environments, which are both connected. SolidFace is fully compatible with basically any other CAD software out there, which also doesn't differentiate us much, but make us very compatible with everyone out there. And then there is the price point. We are by far the most complex and affordable CAD software in the market right now. So there is space to improve the pricing if the new team seems necessary. But we are pretty much full on CAD software. So if you have AutoCAD, they're mostly 2D with 3D visualization, some part optimization. We are basically just like SolidWorks, but very, very, very affordable.
Well, Rafa, thank you so much for presenting today. In summary, congratulations. You've got what looks to be a really high quality, growing 7-year-old SaaS business. Just a reminder to all of our listeners here today, it's a 2D, 3D CAD SaaS business. It's got a strong organic traffic backbone, generating the vast majority of its traffic through organic search, through some quality through some quality content marketing efforts. It is a SaaS business, however, as Rafa alluded to before, making its money through monthly and quarterly subscriptions. The average paying customer is paying $89 per subscription period with a lifetime value of 8 months. That's a really high quality SaaS business with a predominantly US customer base. Check it out on flippa.com, and over to you, Christina.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Rafa.
Thank you.
Next, we will go to Joel Young. He is called in, and Corey will be putting up his actual listing against which Joel will step everybody through his business for sale on Flippa. Hi, Joel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Thanks for making the call. I understand you're on the side of a road somewhere, so thanks for joining us. We have your listing on the screen here so everybody can see what you're referring to. So take it away.
Right on. Well, thanks for having me, and Blake, good morning to you, and congrats to you, man, for a great platform that you've built out as well. I love it. It's been really easy. Yeah, it's been really easy to use, and so far so good. We've actually got 3 offers that we're kind of playing with back and forth, which is a really exciting thing. And it's kind of caused me to really, do a heart search to kind of find out exactly what I want to do with the business. Because at first I just wanted to, just give me 250 and we'll go our separate ways. But all 3 of the talks and, the offers that are kind of accumulating right now, they all want me to stay on board longer than just a transitional, 6 months timetable, because of just the expertise and the design factor. And that's kind of basically how I started the company. About 10 years ago, I just invented a little wooden docking station and put a wire into it and put it up on Etsy, handmade marketplace, and sold it and made a couple more, sold those. And that same year, Etsy reached out to me and they asked me if they could showcase my shop, and they wanted to do like a big deal right around Christmas. And I said, well, that's fine. How many units are we talking about? Because they're, handmade wooden docking stations. And they're like, well, we need, a couple hundred before we could put you on there. And I was like, oh, great. I got to go hire neighbors and stuff, to help me, cut these things out with my jigs and saws. So I learned really quickly that I needed to figure out something that could be, mass produced if I really wanted to make money in it. And Etsy was kind of my platform to get my feet wet and kind of start things out. And as soon as I left Etsy, I started DocArtisan.com, but 2 or 3 of the products that are on there were started with Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So I use those as websites that help me bring a product to market and bring exposure and really create it. Because I started this with 0, no money, no investment, like nobody from scratch. So the whole thing has been that way. It's been very organic. I've never done any marketing. All my clients, are just, they're referred or they come back to me when they upgrade their iPhone. And so it's been a really great business, and it's been fun and exciting, and I've loved it. It's kind of taken its whole toll with me as far as, some relationships, and I had some challenges which, messed up some revenue numbers. And I lost a little heart a couple of years ago. We were doing over $1 million a year in sales, and went through some just personal struggles and things that hurt that. And kind of, I lost like all motivation basically in the business. And so it's been basically on autopilot for like 3 years. It's just totally turnkey. And the only work that's really required now is, answering customers' questions. And then when it comes time to release new iPhones, there's the process of, making sure that everything's good to go on that whole thing, ordering those, posting pictures, doing that sort of thing. But I think, the business would be perfect for somebody who has a good eye for marketing, who likes that kind of stuff, sales and marketing. I've never been that guy. I've never been into pushing stuff or trying to sell stuff. And I know it's like what's needed, to do Facebook ads and Instagram. Like I have an Instagram with 18,000 followers, but I post like one thing in the last 6 months. It's just, I'm terrible. I feel bad, but it is what it is,
That's awesome, Joel. Looks like you've got a business which, frankly, is built on the back of the highest quality product, and ultimately comes from a place, at least initially, of love. Although, as you said, it's now mostly passive and turnkey. A couple of questions, if you don't mind. The business is built on the Shopify platform, but there is some amount of sales coming through Amazon. What percentage of sales are through Amazon?
Yeah, so that's a low percentage. Amazon is like the thrift store, honestly, for me, for the product. So I send like the oldest stuff, but we're looking at like 10% or less. I mean, it's low. Yeah. And so I try not to use Amazon. I really hesitated for a long time. I didn't want any devaluing the brand or, doing that, but it worked out for, iPhone 6 and some of the older models. It's great. It's like beer money.
Yeah, fantastic. Good description. Now these are, they're fairly, I wouldn't say I'm particularly sartorial, Joel, but these look like pretty stylish, stylish wallets. Tell us a little bit about the manufacturing process. I think you're working with a supplier in China. How long's that relationship been around for?
Yeah, so we've been working together for 7 years or so, and it's
great.
It's a great it's a great relationship because now we kind of got to the point. There's no, minimum order quantities that we have to deal with. If I just have run out of a product, like I just did the iPhone 12 Pro Max cases, ran out of those a couple of weeks ago. It's like, hey, just get me, I need 500 like tomorrow. So it's really easy as far as that's concerned because we got a great relationship. But you could see that the products are really geared towards men. I mean, I think 78% of my customers are men, and there's a huge market for adding more products because if you look at the SKUs, there's not a ton of stuff, but people know what they want and they get hooked with their particular wallet case.
Yeah.
And they never want to buy another case again. I mean, I get emails all the time. They're like, I'm getting the new this and that. I just want to make sure you still have this particular. Yeah, we got it. Let's go to the website, But it's I think there's a huge potential as far as just adding more stuff, and kind of one of those things where I have a new opportunity to do something actually in another country with a good friend of mine, and we're doing some development, some real estate, some golfing stuff in a developing country that's kind of starting to blow up right now. So it's just a transitional time for me in my life as far as why I want to sell it. The business is great. I'm, super excited. Whoever gets it, I want to see it do well. I'm definitely available. And, like I said, with the other potentials that I'm talking to, they've put out some interesting concepts as far as ownership, keeping me on board, giving me a % of sales, for life, basically, just to, basically keep a hook in my mouth, right? Like keep me there so I can give feedback and direction and, because I've got notepads of ideas. Like I'm an inventor. My dad was an inventor, and that's like where my joy and my passion comes. But like every day, dealing with the business and sales, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, no, thank you. Somebody else can do that,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to point out a couple of key things here. So I love your business. Congratulations again. So there's a couple of key pieces here. This is a 10-year-old e-commerce business. What I really like about it is that you're selling a high-end product. There's lots of iPhone accessories in the market. There's lots of places you can buy phone wallets, but clearly there's a high-end product which is consistently performed. I just want to point out that piece. It looks like to me, and you did say turnkey, but you're one of the rare e-commerce businesses right now where the vast majority of sales are organic. So you've said here, no paid traffic. Is that the case? There's no current Facebook or Google ad spend?
Nothing.
That's awesome. It's absolutely awesome, Joel. So for any awesome
I know, it's rare. Yeah.
marketers out there, if you're proficient in Facebook, if you know SEM, search engine marketing, this is a really, really great asset that you might want to get your hands on because it's an outstanding product. It could blow up with a little bit of clever marketing. So congratulations, Joel, and really appreciate you joining today.
Sorry, I have one question here for you, actually, from attendees. Question is can this be done by drop shipping and private labeling?
Absolutely. Basically, fulfillment is already, semi drop shipping. It's being done out of LA, Moreno Valley by Ship Bob. So they're doing all of that. I have had in the past some requests for, custom logos, custom names for different businesses. And it's super simple. I mean, it's just all about getting the logo and working out, what the amount of orders you're going to do and settling on price and just figuring that out, but that's absolutely can be done, if that answers your question.
Great. Looks like there's a lot of opportunity and upside on that front in addition to what you've built. So thank you for that. We now turn over Louis, if you're ready to go to share your screen.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Joel, for that. I'm kind of jealous I didn't do that myself. Yeah, I guess I'll just get started. So my name's Lewis. I started Olly Clothing when I was 20, 19, 20. I kind of forget now. It was a bit of a haze back then. But Olly Clothing's now going into its 5th year of business. Olly Clothing's a training and a lifestyle brand established in 2015, like I said. Our primary mission is supporting people in the pursuit of their victories. Our primary product sold is clothing and accessories, with 70% of sales coming from our synonymous jumper range. We make clothing that supports active endeavors for both training and lifestyle. So whether you're hiking a mountain or going to the gym or even going for a coffee with friends, we make a product that supports that. And that's kind of our brand angle and has been since day one. We really started out to essentially get people off their ass and get into health, fitness and wellness in some way, shape or form. We deliver a weekly personal development newsletter called the Monday Mantra, and it goes out every Monday morning and just helps people start their week right. And it's just a wee nugget of wisdom. And we have a podcast show with about 100 to 500 engaged listeners per show. And it kind of follows the same theme. Personal development, self-development, philosophy, any kind of wee tips and tricks or life hacks that we've kind of experienced ourselves. Me and my co-host, just voice all that on the show, and it's really fun and it's very casual and people love it. It keeps people really, really engaged. The product styling typically follows active garment and street style trends, using very minimalistic design and strong monotone colorways. So this really started. The original Olly was a friend commissioned me to make a t-shirt. I'd come up with a few designs and literally they asked, "Oh, could you make that?" And I just figured out how to go and print a t-shirt, and essentially it just got out of hand from there. So it's a pretty organic story, and we'll get to that towards the end. But essentially it was a bedroom business started while I was at university, and it's just got out of hand. It's really taken off in the local market space, and a lot of people love it. And here we are 5 years later, really. So I'll go on to the next part. So straight into the revenue streams. So primarily there's 3 revenue streams within Olly. And I've kind of listed 2018 to 2020 just to show the differences and the changes over time. We actually started out as a custom apparel business because I didn't have money. I was 19 years old. I didn't have money to start a business. So I had to figure out how to start a business without revenue or without venture capital. So doing custom apparel for gyms and small businesses, and even just commissioned work was the best way to do that. So, it was all order to work. So someone say placed $1,000 order, we'd get the t-shirt stock in, get it printed, and we'd keep the rest. And that's essentially how it started. So, the change in the business model is kind of reflected in the different revenue streams over the past 3 years. So, 2018 was very heavy on the custom apparel and trade show side of things, with the e-commerce kind of just starting out. That was our 3rd year of e-com, and we really, like you can see, there was no ad spend at all other than organic word of mouth then. Then we transitioned into 2019 and had a lot of success with trade shows, and we kind of didn't do too much to the e-commerce side of things. We did start kind of delving into a bit of Facebook ads and stuff, but nothing too heavy, and continued the custom apparel service. So we actually got our best event in 2019. We made, I think, just under 24,000 in one trade show in 3 days, which was kind of mind blowing. Because at the time it was just something that I had started, and I had two of my friends down at an event, and we were kind of just blown away. It was like 12-hour days, and it was just incredible at the time. But it kind of showed us, right, this could actually be something. And then 2020 hit, and as we know, the world kind of, shit itself, pardon my French. And so we had to do a lot of pivoting. We really pivoted into e-commerce and made that our primary revenue stream, because we couldn't get to the trade shows and we couldn't do custom apparel because no gyms or small businesses were opening or buying. So it was a great thing because it meant that we had to really learn new skills to market the business. I'm a email marketer by trade, and so with that has kept ad spend really low while increasing revenue coming in. So we more than doubled revenue in 2020, which was awesome. But then we did take a hit with event and trade show and then custom apparel sales. But that should all come back this year. I know locally and within the UK and the outskirts of Europe, the competition calendar is already hotting up. So we'll move on to the next part. So some of the financial highlights, and I've kind of just cherry picked some from 2018 to 2020. The last 12 months have actually only been our third best year in trading. And like I say, that was just because of COVID, really. We didn't get to go to our events and didn't get to pursue the custom apparel services like we normally would. If COVID didn't happen, it would have been the best year in our history. But I guess that's just the nature of business and these things happen. But like I say, we did double e-commerce revenue, which was super, super positive, and it just showed us the capabilities that the brand has on a digital scale. Our best year of trading was actually 2019, with all three of those combined, with just over 120 grand of turnover. November 20 was the best month of e-commerce sales in history, with just under 18,000. But the beauty of that was we had an ad spend of less than $750, and we just used really savvy email marketing. So we done a campaign where we done a limited release or a limited access strategy, where I essentially came up with a campaign that if you wanted access to the launch and to the site, you had to give me your email. So one, we got access to 400 or 500 emails of highly engaged customers, and two, we ended up selling out because we gave the theme of exclusivity, and people love that. And so we sold out 3 of our 5 launch jumpers that weekend. And whenever the regular customer came back, there was demand for months, because we kind of made it feel like there were hen's teeth at the end of the day. November 19, as I mentioned previously, we had our best trade show revenue of just over $24,000 in 3 days, and that was at a CrossFit competition. And I suppose I take this opportunity, Christine actually introduced us as a CrossFit brand. We did launch into CrossFit, but kind of since 2019 have taken a step back and really focused on training and lifestyle. So the product reflected that, our content reflected that, and kind of the voice and the message that we were sending out reflected that. And having taken a step back from CrossFit and going into training and lifestyle, we've really opened our horizons a bit more to a wider customer base. But I'll get to that again at the end. It's not necessarily a financial highlight, but it is something that's important for anybody that is in the e-commerce game. Our products currently run a 57 to 81% profit margin. And we'll get to our line of supply. I think it's about 2 or 3 slides here, but obviously that's important from whether you're thinking about paid ads or how you would market or sell a product. It's important to know that. What's next? So the e-commerce channels, again, it's all been super organically grown. So we have never had a massive budget to grow anything. So it's just been a slow burner, building off good relationships, doing the hard yards really in the early stages. A lot of testing though has really come out of the first 5 years, establishing the brand. So marketing perspective, we've got an email list of 9,000 plus people with 750 highly engaged subscribers. And I purposely put that in. Anybody who kind of is in email marketing will know that you need maybe 1,000 highly engaged customers is all you need to really run your business and keep consistent sales coming in. We also have a sign up rate of about 9%. So 9% of anybody who comes to our site will sign up, and then within that 50% of people will go in or will buy off our welcome series alone. So over half of our revenue generated every single month is actually automated. So we're not having to do huge ad spend, which kind of we showed in the previous slide. We're still really limited on that. So our SMS list newly launched in April there, and we only have 100 plus subscribers, but the ROI is crazy. So that could be an absolute gold mine for someone. Pet ads. So we have a 4-year-old ads account with no bans, soon to surpass the 10K ad spend mark, which anybody in Facebook ads will know is kind of Facebook starts treating you a bit different once you pass that. Google ads, so pay-per-clicks. I was an email marketer by trade for a reason. I absolutely hate media buying and that side of things. It just confuses the life out of me. So we've only recently started a pay-per-clicks campaign this month, literally 2 days ago. But already we've had a team that really think we're going to do well. They're thinking that we can go 5x or 10x on website traffic alone. And whenever we combine that with our sign-up rate off our email lists and all the automated elements of that, there's also an SMS sign-up. Like, it's, again, I feel like it's going to be a gold mine, and we kind of got a government grant to really back that as well. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. Instagram and Facebook, not the biggest accounts by any stretch of the imagination, but they're all legitimate 100% organic followers. We've never bought a follower or any of that crap. So, we're still relatively proud, but it could be done better. We do have, since my availability to run the business has been a bit more limited this year, we now have a social media management company. We have a freelance email marketer and a pet ads guy that all help, and they're all freelancers and they're really in tune with the brand. So there's scalability there. I mean, if someone had those capabilities already, you could scrap the people that we have and align them in with your system, but the opportunity is there. So some e-com numbers. So our average, this is from the previous 12 months. Our average order value is $60.45. I'm used to talking in pounds, by the way. So anytime I said dollars is a bit uncomfortable, but so it's a quite high average order value, probably higher than most competitors in our space, just because we've strategically placed entry-level products with high-end premium products, and generally when over 75% of orders contain at least 2 products. So that's why we have that higher average order value. Conversion rate slightly above industry standard at 2.1 with a high of 4.7 during sales, which is considerably higher than industry standard during sales. But I think that comes down to the exclusivity of our products. We are not a discount brand at all. So anytime we have a sale, people really jump on it. Online store sessions, 68,000. And whenever I show you some areas of weakness, you'll see that could really be improved. We have little to no SEO running on the site. We have no pay-per-clicks campaign or Google Ads campaign going. So that's solely organic, or anything that comes from email or Facebook or Instagram ads. And then our returning customer rate on average of 24% in the last 12 months. So a really healthy returning customer rate, again, above industry standard. So we'll move on to areas of strength. We'll do the strengths first. We are a very established and trusted brand within our space. Because we've been bootstrapped and because we've been slowly growing organically, it means that we have very good relationships with our customers. And literally, we have face-to-face customers that know us very well, but also customers that we've never really met online, but really trust our brand. We have a very engaged audience because of that, and it's been organically grown over 5 years through those relationships and good service. So, like I said, we have a reputation for high-level service, and in the last 2 years, we have not received anything worse than a 5-star review, which is something I like to brag about. And touch wood, I hope I don't get a 1-star or 2-star tomorrow, but we've always went above and beyond. We knew that to build organically and to do the hard yards, it meant that going above and beyond within our service, so within exchanges, refunds, anything the customer needed, we just have always went above and beyond, because it was something that we could do ourselves, and we enjoyed it, and people got to know us, and through that, we've got a very, very good reputation now. We have a very premium quality product, and we're quite well known and recognized for that. And it's created this beautiful return rate of less than 2%. And generally, anybody that does return, either the sizing wasn't right, or people just sometimes don't like the product. So that's something we're really proud of. That is way lower than industry standard, which again kind of is testimony to the quality of the product. We were first to market within our local market space, so we're based in Ireland and Northern Ireland, depending how politically correct you want to be. But we do a lot of trade shows in the outskirts of Europe, a lot of trade shows in mainland UK as well. But the advantage of being first to market meant that we have just been able to solidify ourselves. As through doing premium products, having a great service, we are the guys to beat in our market space at the moment. And we have had a target on our back for 4 years now. And it's a good feeling knowing that we're the Mavericks, I guess. But it does add a bit of toughness at the same time, having to always be at the edge of our game. But we are now recognized for the training and lifestyle products that we make. So one cool advantage of having pivoted into training and lifestyle products is that we're quickly being adopted as a street style brand as well. I couldn't have foreseen this. I mean, it's just the way things go in trends and fashion and style. But it's been awesome because it's opened doors to new customers. We have people wearing our stuff out to bars and pubs and clubs. And I mean, it's not what we intended the product to be used for, but if someone wants to go out and market the product for us and flex on it and enjoy it, well, they can totally be my guest in doing that. But again, it just means we're opening the doors to new people.
Firstly, I think you sold yourself a little bit short at the top of this. You've got a really, really amazing brand. I think our other two presenters would equally agree. So congratulations there. There's a couple of things which I really love about what you've done. This is partly a media business, right? I mean, you're making money through the e-commerce business model, but the fact that you've got a podcast, the fact that you've got a weekly newsletter, the fact that you've got a really high customer return rate, you've built a brand, and that's hard to do. So congratulations. A couple of questions. That average order value of $60, you said it's beyond the average of a standard e-commerce business. I totally agree. What is the single largest product line within the Olly clothing set?
So this would be, see these jumpers, they're the signature range jumpers. I mentioned at the start that over 70% of jumpers products sold are jumpers, and it's actually from that signature range. Great. So these are kind of what we call our evergreen products. They've been literally, they were one of the first products we ever made and launched, and they've never went out of style or fashion. And so over time we've increased the RRP, we've brought new colors in, and yet it's just such a good attraction for new customers and helps us get new customers on board straight away.
Great. Next question is, that top line revenue growth that you experienced from 2019 to 2020 was quite outstanding. I think it was only $6,000 extra in marketing spent year on year, but top line revenue growth of what I've got here is $43,000 up from 37 to 80. What do you put most of that growth down to?
Really pushing exclusivity. We've always been limited by funding because we're bootstrapped. So we had to just get really creative in launching, because like I said, I'm an email marketer by trade. So I just really leveraged that and done the elements of exclusivity and the limited launching. We literally locked the website, and for 2 weeks, got all these emails of people that wanted access whenever the launch went live, and I sent out a code that they could log into the site essentially, and we sold everything out. So we kind of campaigns like that and kind of utilizing or leveraging our position of limited budget really has been the case. So I think just being savvy, to be honest, Blake.
Right, that's super clever. Now you're based in Ireland, but you've got customers all over the place. What is the geographic distribution?
So we're talking about 70% to UK or 70% to Ireland, UK and Northern Ireland, and then 30% to Ireland, with maybe, like I said, those are the majority, but 2 to 5% go to kind of the outskirts of Europe. So Spain, France, Italy, well, not Italy, but Spain and France would be the primary markets, with some going to Portugal and some going to Scandinavia here and there.
Okay, great. So mostly UK, Northern Ireland, 30% Ireland, and 2 to 5% Spain, France, rest of Europe.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That is a very, very high quality branded e-commerce business. Congratulations, Lewis, and really, really appreciate you presenting today. In fact, really appreciate all of our panelists presenting today. So thank you so much. We'll obviously be recording this webinar, and I'll hand over to Christina to wrap up.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Louis. That's really tremendous. I'm actually tempted to go online and pick up a couple of sweatshirts as gifts. It's fantastic. And I love the podcast. And as Blake said, your brand is also a big essence of what's for sale as well. Wanted to thank Joe from Doc Artisan, Rafa from Solid Face, and of course, Louis from Olly Clothing. Thank you, three, for joining us. I know the time zones could be a tyranny for everybody to manage, but I appreciate all of your commitment to the Seller Showcase. And everybody who is attending, please do keep an eye out for the social media and the emails, as well as being able to go to our website where the webinar registration page is to get the recording after the fact. That'll be up in the next day or two. That's also the page where you can look for future Seller Showcases as well. And with that, I'll sign off and say thank you very much to everybody for joining us today on the Seller Showcase. Until the next time.